Our entire economy is built off of the John Deere factory. There is an exact correlation between the dot-com bubble bursting and the fucking AI bubble that's bursting. You're telling me there's 20% more gains in the economy? You guys are the most fucked when it comes to checking credit. Where the fuck are you gonna build in Seattle? Does your generation even want kids? Women in the labor force. They would rather work than be a mom. I've been trying to figure out why the market was crashing and who was going to get affected the most. And I realized that Gen Z was getting obliterated. So I wanted to bring in a Gen Z realtor who happens to be my nephew, Mark, because I wanted to find out from his perspective what he's seeing amongst his cohort, amongst his generation, and how he thinks that's going to affect his friends and his colleagues when they're trying to buy a house. So it's my nephew, Mark.
What's up, guys? I'm Mark, as you mentioned. I'm his nephew. I've been a real estate agent for the last couple of years. Gen Z, very proud. Not really.
Yeah, you guys fucking up. Dude, the market's crashing, bro. Dude, okay, so this is...
I'm pretty scared. Well, I'm scared in the long term. You know, I think a lot of agents don't understand the bigger picture, what's about to happen.
No, you're all out of business. Every single real estate agent.
I was talking to you about it last week, or I you were saying I was the only agent that kind of felt some type of way, because I know a lot of agents left the business or waiting for the lower interest rates because they joined in 2020 or 2021, right? And they thrived and they thought that was normal, and then the reality hit, and obviously didn't realize the work it takes, right? I joined
too late.
I joined at a shitty time, so I felt like.
No, you joined at the best time.
Right. Okay, I joined at the best time, but to agents that joined in that era, they think it was the worst time. But again, what's gonna happen? It's a cycle. I see agents trying to come back in, and then the lawsuit's gonna take into effect too. That's gonna also be a very big game changer. But it's gonna get competitive for a few months, probably the remainder of the year. And then after that, when we go back to normal, which I think should be happening, it shouldn't take that long.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's gonna become my generation, Gen Z. I'm very, very scared about, because they say it's almost impossible to afford a home for my generation.
Yep.
Imagine what's gonna happen when we get back to the low five, the fours. If we get to the fours somehow, or even the low fives, and everyone's rushing in, and a $700,000 house now all of a sudden is an $800,000 house, and it's maybe just a 2-bed, 2-bath, bro.
It's over.
Yeah. So that's what scares me, and it's funny because I feel a lot of agents are not talking about the bigger picture.
Because agents are dependent on one commission check to feed their family.
Yeah,
so
check to check.
Pareto principle is super hard in the real estate industry because it's a 95-5 rule. So 5% of all the agents do 95% of the business. Mm-hmm. Same thing with loan officers. Loan officers, it's worse. It's the top 1% do 99% of the business.
Right.
And the reason why they can't see out of it was because they can't take a step back because they're so focused on one transaction. Mm-hmm. You can tell the difference between working with an agent that does 3 transactions, 5 transactions a month
100%.
Versus 1 transaction a month.
100%.
Bro, I'm so lucky right now. All my purchases are with high level agents, super high level agents, except for one. And I'll share you the story with you. All of them kind of know how I work. So they're hey, let Tony do his thing. We're going to go. If you let Tony negotiate, we're going to go under contract. And dude, I had an agent. I have one agent. She does 7 transactions a year, I think. And it was 2 Fridays ago that we got a counter, and it was Friday night. And the listing agent responds to me and her and goes, "Hey, we'll accept your offer if XYZ." And one of the things he put on there was, tell Tony to talk to the buyer about the credit that we're going to give him and how he could use it. So I screenshot it. I screenshot the email. I text it to the agent and the borrower, and I put, "Hey, if you're going to get $6,000 back, you can use it towards closing costs or lower your rate, which will result in a payment of $100 less."
Right.
Bro, the agent calls me, bro. I think she had like 3 glasses of wine for sure. And she is losing her shit on me. How dare you negotiate for me? How dare you do this on my behalf?
Dude, I think it looks better.
100%.
She goes way better.
She goes, it is an uphill battle for me going forward now, thanks to you. And I was like, and I was going to snap on her. And then I go, she's probably having a bad day.
Yeah.
She's probably having a bad day.
Right. That's respectable. You gave her the benefit of the doubt.
And so I was like, hey, I apologize if you think I'm stepping on your toes.
Yeah.
And I just started to think like, this is her one chance to be a hero. This is her one chance to deliver good news. This is her one chance. So taking a step back, I was like, all right, I'll let you, I'll let you be because she wanted to be the hero. She wanted to be the one to deliver the news. And I took that from her. So, it is what it is. But, and I say all that to say this, they're focused on that one transaction. That's all they've got.
I see what you mean.
So, but once you're doing 5, 10, 20 transactions, we have 30 escrows right now. We're starting to close out our pipeline, which is actually pretty nerve wracking. I have 20 probably live escrows and I'm scared. I'm like, God, we don't have enough business.
That's good. Only have a couple.
But you're going to we're going to get you to 10 a month.
Yeah. Most I've had was 4 in one.
You're probably stressed cities.
Oh,
but
dude,
that's super
crazy.
good.
It was a fun stress though.
Yeah.
Because it was all rewarding. It was a learning experience. I definitely, I remember, again, it was early in the year. I definitely realized what I can handle and what I can't handle. And I definitely believe that with a little bit more better like managing an organization, I think I can definitely do a little bit. I definitely can do more than
it's all systems.
Yeah.
It's
systems in place is so important.
It's like
so important.
Yesterday I was on TikTok live and one of the agents was like, what would you do if you were a brand new agent? And I was like, set up my system. So I was set up
100%.
I would set up my lender. I would set up my title rep, my escrow rep, homeowner's insurance rep. I would set up my fucking contractor. I would set everything up so that if something goes wrong, I'd be like, oh, call that guy.
Yep.
And then you build a relationship with all these people. Yep. And then once you have all that in place, then you can kind of start to market.
Yep.
But until then, like,
that's what I did when I went solo, actually. That's the first thing I did. I got my insurance guy.
You did.
Dude, that guy's clutch. Shout out to you, man.
I was talking about him this morning. Or I wasn't, the staff was, because we needed a fire coverage.
Dude, he's legit, man.
Yeah.
He's so cool. Really cool. Thank you, Manny.
We're like, we have a good partnership. We had a great partnership with State Farm here in Oceanside. And dude, I was giving them like 8 to 10 new insurance policies a month.
Dang.
And fucking they stopped writing insurance in California. And so now we use farmers, and now we have the guys on Marietta Hot Springs. And now he writes 8 to 10 policies for us a month now. And,
killing it.
Dude, and I don't even ask for anything in return. When I first went to go talk to him, he's so cute. I went to the pokey spot next to his office, and I was needing a new insurance agent. I walk in, and he goes, oh yeah, bro, for everybody you refer me, I'll like send you guys pizza.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, bro, that first off.
Wait, who is this?
My guy Juan at Farmers Insurance. I was like, first off, that's a kickback, can't do it. But your service is more important to me than anything else.
Right.
Yeah. Dude, I want to talk about Gen Z. I'll tell you what my prediction is, right? Because you talked about house prices going up.
Yeah. Dude, they're going, and people, again, little side note, people don't realize that homes are, and there's statistics, homes are still going over asking price when the rates were high, right? These last, homes are still going above asking price to give people a little bit more context.
Yeah. Certain markets.
Okay.
Certain markets. All right, so let me give you 2 different examples. Guy hits me up yesterday on TikTok, has a house for $800,000 in Downey, California.
Okay.
One of the most highly desirable neighborhoods to live in. Okay. It's high-class Mexicans.
Okay.
All right, you get good tacos and good schools. That's rare.
Yeah.
So he hits me up, he goes, dude, market crashing, what's going on? What should I do? I go, nothing. Your house is going to go up in value no matter what. He's like, well, I go, it's Downey. You're absolutely chilling. Okay. Areas that are in danger, places where there's heavy second homes.
Like duplexes?
No, second homes like people's vacation houses.
Oh, okay.
Investment properties.
Okay.
The investment property is scary because, and this isn't going to pass, but that stupid 5% cap rule, it's not going to pass. But if they cap rents to where you can't increase rent by more than 5%, you're going to have a lot of landlords that can't make up the amount of money that they want to make.
Yeah.
Right. So there's going to be a lot of pushback. But that's side note. When renters can't afford to pay rent and they're in a protected area and it takes them 6 months to get out of their house, especially if they're like a landlord that owns 1 to 5 properties, like 1 or 2 properties, like they don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
And they're not like, my AC broke on my investment property and the tenants were like starting to threaten me. And I was like, California doesn't require that you have AC in a rental. So either stop and let me get it fixed my way, or you're just going to go all summer without AC. And God forbid you try to stop paying rent because you're going to have a 30-day eviction notice. But I'm in the industry. I know how to handle this. But if you don't, Jess is struggling. She's had to go to court with her tenants.
Who?
Jess.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, well, now the world does. But, you know, but anyways, okay, so there's that. There's these little things. A $600,000 home is a $4,800 payment on an FHA loan.
Okay.
At a 6.125 rate. If rates drop to 4.5%,
oh my God, that home price is gonna
$700,000 is the same payment.
Yep.
Okay.
And people don't realize, like, just
hold on, cowboy. Hold on. How many people can afford that $600,000 home right now?
Not that many people.
Okay. How many people are going to be able to afford that $700,000 home?
It's virtually none.
It's the same. But then now they can't afford the down payment. I think that prices are at a peak. I think that prices are at a peak because salaries haven't gone up 20%. The argument that everyone is saying, right? If you go on my TikTok right now, and I dropped a video, over 1 million views. And I said, it's over. The stock market crashed. The housing market's crashing. It's over. Okay, here's what's happening. Massive layoffs. I had a escrow in Iowa. Mm-hmm. Okay, I call the broker from Iowa. The most gangster shit I've ever seen. James, clip this out. The most gangster shit I've ever seen in real estate on a transaction in Iowa. You ready for this?
What is it?
So what do you call it when you're selling your house and you're going to buy the house, but you're making it contingent on you selling your house first?
Yeah, replacement property, contingent upon you finding replacement property.
Okay, so yeah, there's a specific word. The listing agent was such a gangster. She put in the contract, if we find a buyer for our house before you find a buyer for your house, you have 12 hours to remove this contingency out of the contract.
Is that illegal?
They had it in an addendum. I've never seen it. Over 1,000 transactions. I've never seen that.
Where was this at?
In Iowa.
I wish I can say it's legal or not. I don't know the real estate
it was legal.
laws. I don't know the real estate laws out there.
It was legal. Then, so this happens, right? So our buyer, right, has to sell their house, and then the listing agent has that in the clause. And so I get on the phone with the broker, and the broker goes, yeah, man, that's there. So I go, cool, don't worry. We have financing contingency. She thinks she's a shark, but I'm a killer whale. Remove that shit. We still have financing contingency.
Yeah.
I go,
she can still get out.
Before you do all that, how's the market? And this is where it gets dark. He goes, our entire economy is built off of the John Deere factory.
Which is?
John Deere is like, they make tractors and trailers for gardening and like maintenance of our agricultural.
Okay.
He goes, they just had massive layoffs. So our entire economy is on a standstill. So I don't know if the house is going to move. The house, that was 3 weeks ago, the house still hasn't moved. I call the broker back. I go, hey, listen, I know you want to get this house and the buyers want this house, but you got a great white shark on the other side and you guys are fucking dolphins. And she's going to eat your liver for breakfast. Get out of contract. And the broker just stood quiet. And my loan officer that is managing the transaction was like, did you just really tell him he's a dolphin? I was like, bro, and you're a starfish. Like, you got someone who's so gangster on the other side. Bro, I've never seen this. If I was an agent, I would steal that technique. I would use it in every contract. And then the final piece where she gangstered them out right before they signed off, she had an attorney write them a letter that says, if you do not waive your financing contingency within 24 hours, the financing she goes, we'll pay you $1,000 to get out of escrow. What? And if you don't, then you must waive the financing contingency, add an additional $8,000 to an EMD.
This feels like extortion.
And waive no, it's not. It's a shark. It's a shark playing in a place where people think they're sharks, but they're really dolphins. And bro, I mean, when I told the broker that, and he's still quiet on the this side, my loan officer is a little upset with me. But I mean, it is what it is. She's just better at real estate than they are. But all that to say this, and this is where I bring it back. Their economy stopped because of layoffs in one factory. There's entire communities throughout the Midwest. We don't see it in Southern California. Entire communities that are built off of one company.
Right. Dang, and if
that company has layoffs,
yeah,
what happens to their local economy?
Oh, dude, they're fucked.
They're super fucked.
Yeah.
They're super fucked. People are fucking seeing it.
Yeah.
The S&P, the NASDAQ, and it's all propped up by 7 fucking tech stocks. There is an exact correlation between the dot-com bubble bursting and the fucking AI bubble that's bursting right now. And no one's fucking seeing it. No one's talking about this shit. It is an M-shaped recovery that we're seeing. You know what happened in 2000? Right before the dot-com bubble exploded?
What happened?
There was a Black Monday, just like we had. And then the stock market recovered, right?
Okay.
So here you go. So you have a year of, oh my God, dot-coms. Fucking everyone make a .com. Boom. Market explodes. Everyone's eating, super happy. They're all going to Sizzler. Then Black Monday. Boom, small dip. Then everyone goes, oh, no, sorry, we're still good. Boom, recovers. You feel me? You see the M?
Yeah.
And then
the dip.
Boof. 38% dip in 3 weeks. 38% dip in 3 weeks.
So where do you think we're currently at on that M?
We're right here.
So we're bound to.
So this year,
right?
Why was there so much growth in 2024?
Was there?
Why did the S&P go up 20% in 2024? You're telling me there's 20% more gains in the economy? I don't see that.
I don't see it.
Who has that? Joe Blow can't pay for his groceries. Go to Walmart and see if anybody's paying with a debit card.
Yeah.
20% during Bidenomics. You're crazy. Then you have Black Monday. Now you have a recovery. Why is there a recovery? Oh, Japan bailed us out.
Something just happened with Japan.
Well, that's what caused Black Monday. Japan bailed us out. They're good. Their economy's great. No.
Their yen, didn't it just mess up? What was the big thing that happened?
Japan had negative interest rates.
That's what it was.
Japan had negative interest rates. So if you wanted to put money
on TikTok,
yeah. If you want to put $100 into a bank account, you got to pay them. But that's what TikTok tells you.
Right.
This is what happens on the back end. A bank can borrow money from the government and now the bank is going to get paid by the government to let people borrow money. Right?
Right.
You're with me so far?
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that the bank gives them money to borrow money. It just means there's very low interest rates. So what institutions were doing is they were saying like, oh, wow, like the yen is trash because you have negative interest rates. You're pumping more money into the economy. So money's getting devalued. So they were basically in this bank position, right? We're going to borrow money at ultra low rates. So if you, say you borrow money at 1%.
Okay.
And the US is paying you 5% to buy their debt. So why wouldn't you borrow money at 1% and get a 5% return? You're at a net positive 4%.
Right.
Right. But when you were doing that, they were shorting the yen, meaning they were thinking that the yen was going to continue to get devalued. Mm-hmm. Well, when the government in Japan said, hey, we're going to stop negative interest rates, well, the yen goes up in value because now there's less supply of yen.
Right.
You're with me this far?
Yeah.
So all the people that had short positions thinking that the yen was going to continue to devalue, now there's something called a margin call, where if you have a short position and you're saying so, and it's weird because it's inversely related, meaning the yen against the dollar. So if $1 was 144 yen, and you have a short position that says, I think the yen's going to go up to 150, but the yen actually drops to 120, you have to make up the difference based on how heavy your short position is.
You would have to make up the difference?
Yeah. So then it's called a margin call. So the investor has to pay up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when this happened, all these hedge funds and all these big investors, they had to liquidate because they had to pay their margin call. Mm-hmm. That's what they're telling you. That's what they're telling you. Here's what really happened. If Nancy Pelosi sells her stock in a company, that's not good.
Did she just do that?
She just sold all her stock in Microsoft.
Oh, shoot.
When Warren Buffett sells half his Apple stock, that's not good. When Alphabet is in an antitrust lawsuit by a judge that was appointed by Trump, and Trump might win,
yeah,
that's not good for them. So all these big tech players, NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, Alphabet, Meta, right? All these big players, they missed their earnings report. They're heavy in AI. AI is the hot thing. I was just in an investor meeting, right? And so you know what private equity is?
No, elaborate. So
private equity is when you basically have a hedge fund that says, "Hey, we're gonna buy 10% of your new football podcast, but we want ownership interest in it." Mm-hmm. So that's private equity. So they're letting you borrow money, right? But rather than just borrowing money, they come in and they buy a piece of your company. Where private equity's gangster is because private equities, they own a piece of your company. Mm-hmm. You get all of their connections. So if you get a good private equity firm to come in and buy a piece of your company, the fucking show Shark Tank, they're all private equity. Yeah. They come in and then they like build your company up because they have all the connections. Obviously, they don't want to lose money because they're invested so heavily in your company. So I'm in this private equity meeting, and the guy who's pitching the private equity firm to invest in our mortgage company goes, I want, he goes, yeah, I have AI. And he says something so key, and I've never heard this take. He goes, oh yeah, AI is the hot topic, huh? That you guys are all selling AI right now. He goes, but is AI that you are talking about just really good programming? Or is the AI actually able to self-learn? He goes, as a matter of fact, does anybody even know what AI is?
Artificial intelligence.
Well, yeah, but what is it? Like, what is really artificial intelligence? And it was crickets, right? And I couldn't fucking speak because I wasn't supposed to be there. I'm just in the background, like fucking taking notes like a weirdo. Right. I'm like a cuck in that room, just, you know. And I was like, and it hit me so hard. He goes, is it really just really good programming?
That's a really good point.
And I go, artificial intelligence is the ability to self-learn. That is what artificial intelligence in its core should be sold as. The ability to have input of information, and for the AI subconsciously be able to learn more based on the input that it's received, right? It's like have the ability to deduct more information based on input received, right? That's what humans have, conscientiousness, the ability to project, the ability to have empathy, which is the separator that AI doesn't have. And that's what they're trying so hard. I think if they can make AI conscientious, I mean, we're all fucked.
Dude, they're going to take over the world.
But that take alone, is AI just really good programming? And did they confuse really good programming with AI? And they just gave it a label, and that's the power of language. That if you give something a label, it creates life to it. So is AI just really good programming, or is it actually intelligence, meaning it's able to learn and it's able to absorb information and deduct more information based on the input? And all these tech companies are spending billions and hundreds of billions of dollars in AI, and then they miss their earnings report. And the projections that they had of AI capabilities didn't meet their expectations and the inspectors of the stockholders. You know when else that happened?
What?
In 2008? In 2000.
Oh, 2000, the .com?
The .com bubble. Right before it all burst. The economy was at all-time highs.
So you're literally saying this is history.
This is an AI bubble.
History.
This is the AI. This is the AI bubble.
History is repeating itself.
Unemployment at all-time highs.
Right now?
Right now.
Isn't it just 4.3?
That's what they're saying. But you know what they don't report?
What?
People who have been unemployed for more than 6 months because they're no longer on unemployment.
Oh.
You know what else they don't report?
What?
The people who don't fucking report.
Who is they? Who are you referring to as they?
The people who don't report that say that they're looking for jobs.
But who is it though?
Someone who has been unemployed for 6 months. What about the person who doesn't want to go collect unemployment benefits? What about all the stay-at-home moms? None of those people count. One of the reasons why the unemployment went from 4.1 to 4.3 is because more people entered the workforce. Why are people entering the workforce? Because you can no longer support a house on one single income.
Yeah, it's impossible.
All right. You know how hard it is for me to support my household on one income? It costs $20,000 a month to support a family right now. I told Tia, I was like, dude, what would you have done if you would have married a school teacher? Ooh. And she goes, that's why I didn't. I was like, touche. I can't even get mad at that. She goes, why would I have done that? I want to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be with a teacher. I think that we're on a short-term rally right now. We're on a short-term rally, and it's going to go up. And the Feds can cut rates, and they can cut
it's not gonna do
half a point. Okay, well, if they cut half a point, we go back to last year. Do you remember how dark it was last year? It was still dark.
It was really tough.
Okay, so they cut 1 point. Well, that's just the early part of last year. Okay, they cut 1.5 points. Well, that's just 2022. Prices are already hitting all-time highs.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
Can they go higher?
Yeah.
Okay, who's going to buy them?
Investors who got all the money.
BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. They're all going to go buy single-family residences. That's okay. They're going to go buy it, and then we're all going to become renters?
That's what they're trying to do.
That's what they want.
That's what they're trying to do, separate us.
Yeah. Some would say, I love the one thing I'm a diehard Trumper, and I'm taking the stance. I don't care if this is online. I'm a diehard Republican, but there is a case to be made that RFK,
he's not bad.
Is not bad, but his take on making single family residences affordable, universal 3% mortgage rate for first time home buyers, and preventing hedge funds from owning single family residences.
But they don't want you to know that.
And if they can do that, if he can do that, that opens up supply. There's going to be 9.5 million new homes that hit the market when rates hit 4.5%.
How many?
9.5 million. Because all the people, hear me out, all the people that are at 2 and 3%, and all the people that took HELOCs over 300, I think it's $300 billion in HELOCs issued this year. All those people are waiting to move. It's not just a pent-up buyer demand. There's also pent-up seller demand. Some dude in fucking LA is hitting his 60s. He's got $1 million home. Mm-hmm. And he's like, fuck, dude, I can get 400 grand and move to Texas and live comfortably. You don't think that guy wants to sell? He's like, fuck, my mortgage is
There's a lot of people want to leave
$2,000,
California right now.
you know? But it's market dependent. Southern California is probably going to stay stagnant for a long time. It's probably not going to see
inventory.
But other markets, the Midwest, Texas, Florida, Arizona, you already see it in Florida. Northern Florida is getting hammered. They're in trouble. Your generation, what scares me is you guys can't delay gratification. That's why you guys are the most fucked when it comes to checking credit. Either you guys are hyper responsible or you guys are just super fucked. If you look at credit utilization, you guys take up 35% of the people who are in the 90 to 100% utilization rate.
That's crazy.
35%, dog.
That's crazy.
And that correlates to the default rate. And if you guys have bad credit, and you guys are getting older now, you guys are young adults now. Your generation now peaks at 27 years old. And you guys, the homes aren't affordable. You have no credit. You guys have high student loan debt. Like, what's left for you guys?
What is left?
Driving for Uber? Driving for Uber till you pay everything off and then hope to
But whose
God.
fault is it though?
Greed. I think it's corporate. I'm a capitalist by heart, but the problem is that you had government institutions come in, and when the government steps in, it fucks everything up because you don't have a free market. So a free market is guided by something. There's a theory called the invisible hand, right? And that's what you were supposed to let the markets be guided by. The invisible hand is basically a theory in supply and demand. If there's more demand, then there is supply, then it's going to drive prices up, right? Inversely. Well, the government comes in, they overregulate the ability to make houses. And this is, God, you got me started. God damn it. This is where the government's they're so fucking goddamn stupid. They make it harder to build houses. So that fucks supply.
In Cali?
Everywhere.
I know, I was just saying Cali, absolutely.
There's places like Seattle where you can't build over a certain height because it blocks people's views. Where the fuck are you going to build in Seattle?
Yeah.
I had one guy hit me up. He goes, what do you think of the Seattle market? I go, you're fucked. House prices aren't going to come down in Seattle. He goes, why not? Where are you going to build? On the water? You're going to go live in a boat?
Yeah.
No, you can't build up because they don't want to block the views. God forbid, grandma can't see the fucking Mount Rainier. So they put all this regulation in place. It hampers supply. They make it more expensive. They make the cost of living more expensive. Well, what does that do for your generation? How many kids do you want to have?
Ideally, at least 2.
2? On average, what do you think people in your generation? Does your generation even want kids?
No. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but...
Yeah, but it's rare.
Right.
So many people in your generation don't want kids.
Because they think it's too expensive.
Exactly. Let's look at my generation. My generation, they want 1 or 2 kids. Or they don't want kids. Hyper professionals. Women in the labor force. They would rather work than be a mom, the most important job in the fucking world. Society has made it, James, you can clip this out, this will go viral. Society has made it so that the woman is more idealized as a fucking real estate agent than as a stay-at-home mom raising her kids. Why? So that the government can collect more taxes off somebody? So that they can indoctrinate those kids and have them in the system since 2 years old, 1 year old. They're already in the system. They're already in a daycare. They're already in preschool. I may die tomorrow, but my kid isn't going to get indoctrinated. She's 4 years old. She hasn't been a part of the system yet. I don't even let her get vaccinated. Her mom has to vaccinate her behind my back. And I know she does it. But this is where it gets scary. On average, your generation, my generation are having one and a half kids, about 1.6, 1.7.
Who?
Our generations right now. 1.6 to 1.7 kids. How many people, and I get this is an anomaly now. How many people does it take to have kids? Don't get a fucking offended, feminist. Two. Okay, it takes 2 people to have kids. And if those 2 people only have 1 kid, and those people get older, who's going to take care of the 2 older people? If there's only 1 kid.
Just the 1 kid, I guess.
So if Social Security is dependent on the younger generation to fill the pool, but there's 2 people retiring, but only 1 person entering the workforce, how are the 2 people going to get taken care of?
The retirement homes,
How? Who's going to pay for it?
The one soul.
So now you got to tax that 1 person more. So now you got to make it even harder for that person. And so what you're going to hit is an inverted relationship between births and deaths. There's going to be less births and there's less deaths because medicine is improved so much. And yet, so people are living longer, but now there's less kids. So who's going to take care of the older people?
It might have to take care of themselves, unfortunately.
How? There's only so many greeters that Walmart can hire.
Right.
Your generation is looking at it with fear. Because how do you get started? But no one's talking about how it ends.
And I think that's why they say my generation is the least ambitious. Because I think there's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
There's so much negative put up against us.
Yeah.
All you guys are here all your lives since you were born.
What?
Life is hard, can't afford shit, nothing. You guys are seeing people struggle, all that shit, so why care? Why does it matter? Why should I feel that gratification? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the mentality of that.
Yeah.
I'm not pointing you up.
Right. No, 100%. I mean, I've seen it. I know people that are like that.
The longer you can wait, the better the outcome. The longer you can wait, the better the outcome.
It's hard to wait.
Yeah, because Pornhub pops on your phone. That's why it's hard to wait.
Yeah.
It's hard to wait. You know, Pornhub in a second. You can have fucking whatever you want. That the world has become centralized in making everyone a slave.
Yeah, that's why.
We're all slaves to Jamie Dimon. We're all slaves to the guy who runs BlackRock. We're all slaves to the NASDAQ, to the S&P. We're all slaves to them. Fuck, I have a Robinhood account and I own $10 of stock. I'm an owner in Disney. No, you're not. No, you just gave your money to Disney. I'm not saying don't invest. You have to because of the compounding effects of it. And it's the only way to hedge against inflation. But we're all slaves to the people in charge. And it is a ever-growing like historical battle between the bourgeoisie and the proletarians. But every time the bourgeoisie has gotten so as greedy as they have in today's era, the proletarians have fought against and won. Because good only has to be right once, and bad has to be right every single time. The battle that we're in right now, the forces that we're fighting, I mean, if you listen to Tucker Carlson, we're fighting evil. It's a good versus evil.
Dude, it's gonna be civil war, bro.
It's us versus them. And society's so stupid, they're all focused on the wrong thing.
Woke.
They're all focused on
Wokeness.
Gender identity. They're all focused on DEI. All this bullshit.
Getting trans into female sports.
I want to box that bitch. I will kick her in the fucking face. I'll go to jail. She does not belong being a woman. Where the fuck are the feminists at? Where the fuck
Dude, don't
are you
even get me
guys?
started with
Where the
feminists.
fuck are you guys at? How the fuck dare you?
I don't even get me started.
Let's get her with Clarissa Shields. Let Clarissa Shields
Dude,
destroy
she's
her.
legend.
Yeah. And get Amanda Nunez against that dude.
Legend, go.
Amanda Nunez will fucking destroy him. I don't know, man. It's scary times, but when it comes to real estate, you know, and I'll end on this, and I think this is a good nugget for you. And I think you're getting this question a lot, like, is it a good time to buy?
It's a good time to buy as long as you can get into it. Once you get into it, you can get into a house, just do it.
Yeah. So take it a little deeper, and this is what I do. I say, if I was a good salesman, I would tell you it's always a good time to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was a great salesman, I would tell you buy now and refi later. Because I just set up 2 loans.
Usually what I say.
Yeah, I'll be like, man, you do that. And that's, if I was a great salesman, that's what I would do. But I give a fuck about humans. And I go, listen, buy if you can afford $4,000 a month every single month for the next 2 years.
Right.
And if they go, okay, why do you say that? I go, because the value of your property doesn't matter. It's all a fugazi. The number that you see on Zillow is just something in your brain to give you a little bit of a dopamine hit. The reason why Zillow has those values is because they want you going back. They want the traffic. It does not matter unless you're going to do a cash out refinance or you're going to sell. So it is a good time to buy if you can afford the monthly payment. And the final thing is come with 0 down. Come with 3.5% down. If you're a vet, 0 down. Mm-hmm. I have a vet with $1 million. He goes, what should I do? I go, buy with 0 down, because if the value drops, you don't lose anything. Are you going to live in that house? He goes, I'm going to live in the house for 10 years. Buy.
Bet. Yeah.
All right, another person, I'm going to live in the house for 2 years. Go rent. Well, why am I going to rent? Because the house value drops in 2 years, you're fucked. Can't get out of it. So should I buy? If you can afford the monthly, and you can come in with as little as possible. That's when you should buy. Mm-hmm. And because the value doesn't matter unless you're going to sell.